So we got till Tuesday night till the whole squad goes back home.
Mama gonna
everybody's
cry.
gonna have their own thing going on. But
You're busy lives. You're men now.
yeah, I got things going on. Girls,
Gotta get back to
basketball.
your girls. Gotta get back to your sports and your girls and your classes.
Nice classes. Hate classes. Anyway, I think that was pretty good.
Sign
That was
it
the
out.
best one we had.
That's right. Merry
Okay.
Christmas.
She seemed like any other mother. Her children smiled in every photo. They posed with ice cream cones, Halloween costumes, backpacks for the first day of school. A family frozen in time, preserved in smiles that would never fade, but never age either. Then, without warning, those children disappeared. Not from the schoolyard, not from a hospital, not even from a crowded city, but from their own home, under the quiet watch of the one person meant to keep them safe. Days passed, then weeks, then months, and yet, no Amber Alerts, no tearful public plea from their mother, no candlelight vigils, just silence. And in that silence, a whisper began to spread, a whisper that pointed not toward a stranger or a shadowy figure in the night, but toward a couple with calm voices and smiling faces, a couple convinced that the end of the world was near, and that death was not something to fear, but a step toward salvation. Her name, Lori Vallow. His, Chad Daybell. Together, they followed beliefs so extreme that even close friends grew uneasy. Their faith spoke of zombies, dark spirits, and people whose souls could be cast out like shadows. And behind the veil of righteousness, they believed they were chosen to separate the light from the dark, chosen to lead others into the next life, chosen to decide who lived and who didn't. By the time investigators realized what was happening, it was too late. Two children, Tylee Ryan and Joshua J.J. Vallow, had been gone for months. Lori had remarried. Chad's wife had mysteriously died, and buried beneath a thin layer of soil in Chad's backyard was the truth no one wanted to believe. This isn't just the story of two missing children. It's the unraveling of a belief system that blurred the line between faith and fantasy. It's about death masked as destiny. It's about a mother, a grave, and the chilling realization that some people don't just lose touch with reality. They replace it with something far more dangerous. And through it all, one question has never truly been answered. How do two people so convinced of their own righteousness justify the unthinkable? And what happened in the final moments before two children simply vanished? If you're ready to go beyond the headlines, to uncover the chilling truth behind the lies, subscribe to Dark Trail Files. This is a story that demands to be heard. Before the headlines, before the shallow graves, there were two kids, two lives full of laughter, routine, and love, suddenly erased, as if they were never here at all. Joshua Jackson Vallow, JJ, as everyone called him, was a burst of light. Adopted by Charles and Lori Vallow, he was autistic, curious, and endlessly energetic. His laugh came from deep in his chest, unfiltered, pure. He rode his little red scooter through the quiet cul-de-sac in Rexburg, Idaho, stopping every few feet to wave at neighbors. He named every street sign out loud, like they were old friends. His world was small, but in it he was safe. And then there was Tylee Ashlyn Ryan, a teenager with more wit than most adults. Protective, bright-eyed. She had this way of disarming people, sarcasm on the surface, but fierce loyalty underneath. To her friends, she was the comic relief. To JJ, she was the shield, the one who spoke for him when he couldn't. They were close. Not always smooth, like most siblings, but bonded in a way only children of complicated families can be. Imagine this. It's a late summer evening. JJ is zipping down the sidewalk, scooter wheels humming against the concrete. Lori stands by the garage, watching him, phone in hand. Tylee is upstairs, her bedroom light glowing through the blinds. She's editing a video for TikTok, texting friends, smiling to herself. The house is still. Normal. But normal doesn't last. September 8th, 2019. Yellowstone National Park. A family trip. At least, that's what the photos said. Tylee is there. Her last known image. She's standing beside her brother and her mother, forced smile, the steam of Yellowstone behind her. After that day, she's never seen again. 15 days later, September 23rd, JJ is at school. Teachers say he seemed off that morning, distracted, almost silent. That afternoon, he was signed out early. The signature? His mother's. He never returned. The absence didn't cause immediate panic. Not yet. Lori offered explanations. Homeschooling, moving states, new plans. But none of it sat right. Weeks passed. No birthday posts. No check-ins. No sign of either child. Eventually, questions grew too loud to ignore. And when police finally pressed for answers, they weren't met with grief or confusion. They were met with silence and a smile.
And
long time coming.
it has been. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes.
So I want to start with Chad. Years ago, Chad was the best man you've ever met.
Chad is a very kind person, yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
Besides his spirituality, what else attracts you to Chad?
He's a wonderful person. Everyone who knows him knows that. You've never met him, right?
I haven't met him other than when we were in Hawaii.
I'm saying you never met him, talked to him, interacted with him, or...
No. How often are you able to talk with him?
So we aren't really speaking.
By your own choice or just because it's not allowed from like prison to prison? But you still love him.
Absolutely.
And you've said you'll be exonerated and he will too.
Absolutely, we will.
Will that be before he's executed?
Yes, Nate. There's 220 people in this country who have been on death row, have been exonerated, and gone home.
Do you think it'll be soon then?
I think it'll be in the Lord's time.
Does it bother you though that in Chad's trial he blamed it on you and Alex?
There's defenses going on. There's all these things going on that you wish, like, why can't we just go in and tell our side of the story? The attorneys are like, you can't do that. We have to come up with a defense.
I think Chad, they had to come up with a defense just to have one in court. You don't think he really believed or blamed all of this on you and Alex?
Absolutely. I know that for a fact because John Pryor came and told me that prior to trial.
He said, this is going to be our defense.
He said, I'm going to blame you. Chad doesn't want me to, and he wants you to know that. And this is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees. Nobody knows what's going on. There's so much stuff going on that you wouldn't even believe all the things that go on. We got this expert, we paid him $1 million to say the opposite of whatever your expert's going to say. What do you mean they paid him? The state paid an expert $1 million retainer to say whatever the opposite of what our state, what our witness.
In Arizona or Idaho?
In Idaho. Was what our witness is going to say. The attorneys told me this. I'm like, are you kidding?
You didn't have any witnesses.
We did. In the buildup, we did.
But then
absolutely
you didn't call him.
There's reasons for that there's strategies involved, there's things going on, and you have no control when you have attorneys.
And
they're doing it how they want to do it.
And that's why you wanted to be your own attorney.
There's several reasons. The number one reason was because they wanted me to sit here for 5 years while they got to know the case.
Burned. That's not wrong.
No, that's all mixed up. That wasn't.
I saw photos of Jay wrapped in plastic and duct tape. That wasn't wrong.
I understand what you're saying. Those facts in and of themselves are wrapped around a whole lot of untruth.
About how they ended up there.
Correct.
So if Tylee killed JJ and then felt bad and committed suicide, how did she die first?
She didn't. That's part of their whole fake narrative. That's
Who burned her and chopped her up?
That's part of everything that they were doing. So I don't really want to get into all of those details with you because you obviously are very set in your mind. I'm not here to change people's minds.
I want you to change my mind. I'd love to hear any evidence or facts you have that might make me think, what? They have it wrong, but I haven't heard anything otherwise. The night before Alex died, he told Zulema, I think I'm their fall guy. Was he?
No, absolutely not, and I don't think he ever said that. I watched Zulema go through probably 13, 14, 15 hours of detectives grilling her. I've watched the interviews. I've watched them all. And I watched her be berated by them, threatened by them, that they're going to arrest her, that she had a part in this, she's a co-conspirator, and all this stuff until they got her to say exactly what they wanted her to say. She made up a lot of stuff, and I felt bad for her because I didn't want her arrested because she wasn't part of any conspiracy, because there wasn't any conspiracy. I felt really bad for her. I do love Zulema.
Did you and Chad have anything to do with Alex's death?
No, absolutely not. We were very surprised. No.
What were you and Chad and Alex doing in the storage unit moving the tire and the seat back and forth on the day that Brandon was shot at and the day after?
So that's so silly. So there was stuff in my garage that I was starting to move into the storage unit. That's what we were doing. So I moved that stuff in there.
But the tire on the Jeep?
I moved stuff that had been in there, had been sitting in there. So I didn't have enough room to park. So I couldn't carry it. It was heavy. So I had Chad help me put it in. And the next day, Alex was like, where's all that stuff in the garage? I went and put it in the storage unit. He was like, I need that. So we went and got it. And that was it.
Can you see how, let's say you're not here. Let's say you're at home and you find out about this story, do all your research, you go through all the court documents, you watch the trial. And you're watching another woman going through exactly what you're going through. Can you see how it sounds kind of crazy what you're saying? Like the fact that this was all a coincidence, or you were just moving stuff in and out?
Because the narrative has trained the people.
But if you did your own research.
By the media and their narrative that they put out. Nobody was asking me what's happening. Nobody asked Chad what was happening. Would you have listened then? You have to.
Absolutely. I would.
You need to be on the boat, Nate. Are you on the boat yet? Because when you're on the boat, Nate, I am going to be happy to share all this stuff with you because miracles are on the way.
Well, I wanted to.
Miracles are on the way. When you're on the boat, that's.
You say Jesus is your friend.
Absolutely.
Does he support cheating on your spouse?
We weren't cheating.
Does he support killing your husband?
I didn't kill anybody, ever.
Killing your kids?
I didn't kill anybody.
Killing your boyfriend's wife?
Was I in Hawaii when Tammy died? How did I kill her? Are you going to explain that to the world now? How did I do that?
Using your kids' money while they're dead?
All that is messed up too. How
did you rent that unit in Hawaii?
That's all lies. Chad rented it.
Chad didn't have any money until Tammy died.
Chad rented it with his own money. Chad was an author and a publisher and had his own company.
So
that's what I'm saying.
You're getting $30,000 a year.
No, but you're giving up facts that you don't. You're giving up whatever the state put up. They don't put up the whole story, Nate. They just put up tiny pieces to put together their own narrative. That's it. You don't know anything about our lives or how they were or what we were doing in the temple. What we were doing in the temple every single day.
While you were in the temple, while Tammy was still alive, you were in the temple with Chad.
Several times, yes.
So he's married to Tammy.
Correct. Tammy came to the temple with us too.
The three of you?
At some points, yes.
How many times?
Probably twice. I'm writing it. And I'm going to write out every single thing from beginning to end so that people can really understand, because you can't understand what happened with Tylee and JJ unless you understand what happened to Tylee in her life. You have to know Tylee's whole story from beginning to end. And when you know what happened in Tylee's life, you start to understand. The understanding, the lights click on. But nobody has said that. You know how many of Tylee's birthdays we spent in the hospital with her screaming in pain while she's on morphine, and the morphine isn't enough to take away the pain.
Wait. Are you really blaming this all on Tylee?
No, absolutely not. I'm saying Tylee had a really hard life, and people don't understand.
So how does that tie into her death and your son's death and Charles being shot and Brandon being shot at and Tammy's death?
Okay, all those things connected, right? It's a domino effect. So in 2017, I was told by the Lord that I was going to become like Job and lose everything. Will I do this job if I lose everything? And so this...
The clip you just saw was taken weeks after JJ and Tylee vanished. She's calm, collected, almost amused. There's no sign of urgency, no plea for help. Behind that calm exterior was a mother with answers. But the world would have to dig through months of lies before uncovering even a piece of the truth. And by then, it was already too late. September 8th, 2019. A photograph is taken at Yellowstone National Park. It shows a smiling teenage girl, Tylee Ryan, standing with her family. It will be the last known image of her alive. Just over 2 weeks later, on September 23rd, her younger brother, JJ Vallow, attends class at Kennedy Elementary. He's described by teachers as bright-eyed, full of energy, a kid with routines. That morning, nothing seems off. But by the end of the day, he disappears from the classroom and never returns. He, too, will vanish without a trace. Lori Vallow offers a simple explanation. They're with relatives. That's what she tells concerned family members. It's what she repeats to curious friends. It's what she insists when questioned. But behind the scenes, nothing adds up. Text messages go unanswered. Phone calls are met with silence. No one, not even the relatives Lori mentions, can confirm seeing the children. Then, something even more unsettling. Lori Vallow leaves town. Not to search, not to help, but to start over. With Chad Daybell by her side, she relocates to Kauai, Hawaii. No trace of panic. No public plea for help. No sign of urgency. Only 2 missing children and 2 parents who seem to have moved on. Meanwhile, the worry back home deepens. Family members like Kay and Larry Woodcock become frantic. They reach out. They demand answers. They push authorities to investigate. And then, finally, in November 2019, Kay files a missing persons report. 2 children gone. No clear explanation. Only a growing darkness and questions that no one seems willing to answer. It was supposed to be paradise. Hawaii. Crystal blue skies. New beginnings. But for Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, it wasn't a vacation. It was an escape. Detectives flew thousands of miles to knock on their door. The question was simple. Where are your kids?
The heat of it, I don't think there was many words that I remember.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside,
And what happened?
then they got up from that, and my brother had like stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the back and yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly, and then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, like backwards, almost in one arm.
Like he was swinging it backwards? He would have done like
he would have swung it backwards at me, not frontwards.
Okay, yeah.
He was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
So it was a good idea for Tyler to get out of that.
Probably not the...
I mean, he played semi-pro when he was young. But, yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot. And
so you heard the shot? Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground. And I was freaking out. And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mama. I'm like, I've got to go to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in, and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And I slept.
When you came back in and you saw him on the ground, where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Okay.
Like it all happened very quickly. I feel like I was there because I was right there, and like a second later, I just went around the kitchen to get away from him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
Like it was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school and call the police and come back, whatever.
Did anybody say did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said, are you taking JJ to school? And I said, yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay. So he called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Back in Rexburg, Idaho, the situation turned darker. Search warrants were issued. Hard drives, iCloud backups, bank accounts. Everything was being picked apart, but Lori wasn't rattled. In one of the most cryptic things she ever said, Lori turned to police and calmly whispered, "You wouldn't understand what's really going on." What was going on? Investigators soon connected disturbing dots. There was Alex Cox, Lori's brother. In July, he shot and killed Lori's husband, Charles Vallow. Self-defense, he claimed. But months later, Alex himself was dead, collapsed in his own bathroom. Then there was Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife. Healthy, active, and barely 49. Suddenly found dead in her sleep, just weeks before Chad married Lori. Something was unraveling. The press caught on. News vans flooded the neighborhood. Live updates ran across the country. But still, no sign of the children. The Woodcocks, Kay and Larry, went on national TV, begging for the kids to be found. "We just want to hear them laugh again. We don't want to believe the worst." But the silence was growing louder. When the children vanished, the question that gripped the nation wasn't just where they were. It quickly turned into something much darker. Why? Investigators started peeling back the layers of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell's lives, and what they found was chilling. Lori believed her children were no longer really her children. She claimed they were possessed, that evil spirits had overtaken their bodies, turning them into what she called zombies. She wasn't joking. She meant it. And Chad? He believed her. Chad Daybell wasn't just a religious man. He fancied himself a prophet. He said he could tell who was light and who was dark. He claimed the world was ending soon, and only the chosen 144,000 would survive. Together, Lori and Chad built a theology that blurred the line between spiritual warfare and physical destruction. And at the center of it were two children. Then came Lori's brother, Alex Cox. He wasn't just a bystander. He had already shot and killed Lori's previous husband, Charles Vallow. Claimed it was self-defense. No charges were filed, but questions remained. Was Alex just loyal, or was he following orders? Because soon, more people began to die. Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, the healthy, active school librarian, suddenly died in her sleep. Just 2 weeks later, Chad married Lori. Coincidence? Or cover-up? And then came the most haunting moment yet.
We just had a death in the family, and we really don't want anything but a cremation and then to send the cremains to a family in Louisiana. Just a simple, nothing other than a cremation and sending him to his family for a service in Louisiana. So, is there any way to know a ballpark price on that?
Yes, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, let me transfer you over to the director who can assist you with the pricing. What is your name, please?
It is Chad Daybell.
How do you spell the last name, please?
Daybal, Daybell.
How are you related to the person who passed?
I'm his nephew.
And then also, this is for the Valley of the Suns in Chandler, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, he lives there in Chandler. I live in Iowa, so I'm just trying to help out.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, what is your uncle's name for reference, please?
He is John Daybell.
And last name?
Well, Dabal.
Okay.
The same. John.
Do you have a middle name?
Myron.
Myron?
Yeah.
And Chad, what is your phone number in case we get disconnected?
Yeah. This number, 515, I don't actually know my own number. Let me look real quick.
Thank you.
515-402-0143.
Thank you. Is he at a nursing home, hospital, or residence?
He passed away in a hospital. I don't know the details.
Yeah, it's just for to know, because sometimes it's different if it's a residential or hospital or nursing home? Okay.
Thinking they're sending him to the medical examiner. I'm not sure. I should have had more information before I called. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. Cremation with shipping. To which city?
New Orleans.
I understand that your uncle passed away.
Yes. And I'm just starting the process for the family. He didn't have many relatives. I'm his nephew. I live in Iowa. But what
So
they
sorry to
want
hear
to
that.
do it's sad to see him go. Yeah, I think he's going to the medical examiner. I don't know all the details, but what the family basically wants is just to have him cremated there in Chandler and then have the cremains shipped to New Orleans. And we'll deal with the service later. So just trying to get a ballpark price.
Okay. So for a cremation, we are able to do our cremation for $1,695. Now, what that's going to include is the transportation into our care, the transportation to and from our crematory, our basic professional fees, as well as our crematory fee. Now, there's going to be a couple other charges there for you. So we are going to have death certificates, which are $20 a piece with a processing fee. $15 permit fee. And then we're able to do that transfer through the mail for you, and that's $150 fee for you.
Okay. Like UPS or something, I guess.
Okay.
So close, about 2,000 probably, kind of a ballpark, yeah.
Close to, yeah.
Okay. Well, that helps me a lot. I'm going to call one or two others, but I'll get back to you.
June 9th, 2020. After months of silence, strange disappearances, and disturbing allegations, it all came to a head. Police arrived at Chad Daybell's property in Salem, Idaho, armed with search warrants, and perhaps the weight of a nation's dread. They started digging, and then they stopped. What they found would horrify even the most seasoned investigators. In the backyard shallow graves, J.J. Vallow's tiny body, wrapped in plastic and bound with duct tape. Nearby, what remained of his sister Tylee, brutally dismembered, burned, and buried in pieces. The innocence that once radiated from their young faces, now buried beneath dirt and secrecy. From his car, Chad Daybell watched. Then, he tried to leave, but it was too late. He was arrested on the spot, and Lori, already behind bars, no longer had her wall of denial to hide behind. In courtrooms, both of them appeared quiet. Still, but the silence only echoed the devastation they left behind. The children were found, but no justice could truly mend what was broken. Families, communities, and the world at large had finally stopped hoping and started mourning. May 2023. Lori Vallow stands trial in Idaho. A jury of her peers listens to weeks of chilling testimony, of visions, manipulation, and unthinkable death. And finally, justice speaks. She's found guilty of all counts: conspiracy, murder, grand theft. The punishment? Life without parole. But that's not all. In July 2025, Arizona convicts her again, this time for the deaths of Charles Vallow and Brandon Boudreaux's attempted murder. 2 more life sentences are added to her name. But justice didn't stop with her. In April 2024, Chad Daybell finally faces his reckoning. He's found guilty on every count: conspiracy, murder, obstruction, his belief in a divine mission demolished by reality.
It has been conducted last couple of days, the jury's been deliberating. The court is advised that the jury has reached a verdict on the special sentencing proceeding, and the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count one, the defendant is sentenced to death. On count two, the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count two, sentences the defendant to death. On count three, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count three, sentences the defendant to death. On count four, first-degree murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count four, sentences the defendant to death. On count five, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count five, sentences the defendant to death. On count six, the first-degree murder charge, the murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count six, sentences the defendant to death. The court's next going to take up counts 7 and 9 on the insurance fraud counts. Before I do that, from the state, are there any questions regarding the court's judgment as it relates to counts 1 through 6?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
You would like to make before I proceed with sentencing on those counts?
No.
Very well. The court is going to impose a prison sentence of 15 years. So a 15-year sentence will be imposed on count 7. The court will take under advisement the issue of restitution requested by the state. The court will not impose any fines. The court also will impose a 15-year prison sentence on count 9, also pursuant to the same statute, take under advisement the issue of restitution. The court will note in imposing these prison sentences that I have reviewed Idaho Code 192521, which requires me to go through certain criteria about the imposition of a prison sentence versus a possibility of parole or a lesser sentence. And I would note that the rationale for the prison sentences is that these are intertwined with the murder charges for which the death penalty has been imposed.
The courtroom stays silent. The world watches. The sentence? Death. And still, the pain echoes. Kate and Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandparents, continue to speak. They advocate for justice, for remembrance, for healing. Tylee and JJ are no longer just victims of crime. They are remembered across the country, at candlelight vigils, on school walls, in broken hearts. And in Rexburg, things will never be the same. A small town, once known for its peace and quiet, now carries a name tied to tragedy. A haunting legacy etched in memory. Justice was served, but the cost? Irreversible. They were just children. J.J. Vallow, full of energy, innocent, trusting. Tylee Ryan, fiercely protective, wise beyond her years, just starting to find her voice in the world. They had dreams. They had futures. And they were taken not by strangers, but by someone who once tucked them in at night. It wasn't a monster in the shadows. It was their own mother, and a man who promised salvation while planning their destruction. Justice came eventually. A life sentence for Lori Vallow. The death penalty for Chad Daybell. But even in those verdicts, there's a silence that lingers, a kind of grief that justice can't erase. Because how do you explain a belief system so twisted It convinces a mother her children were zombies? How does a woman who gave birth, who held her babies in her arms, come to believe their deaths were a divine necessity? And maybe the more frightening truth is, she really did believe it. She believed she was saving them. She believed death was mercy. Or was it all just a lie? A mask to cover something darker? Selfishness, control, obsession, delusion? The courtroom gave us facts. The evidence gave us timelines. But some answers remain locked in the minds of those who will never tell the truth. So we turn to you now. Do you believe Lori Vallow was brainwashed by Chad? Or was she always capable of this? Was it faith? Or was it evil dressed in scripture? Tell us what you think in the comments. And if stories like this matter to you, if truth and memory deserve a voice, then subscribe to Dark Trail Files. We don't sensationalize. We tell how it happened, because the victims deserve more than silence. Like, comment, share, and most of all, remember JJ and Tylee, not just for how they died, but for who they were before the darkness came.